you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the Our Lady Sings That Makes Official. Welcome to the big show. As always, for 16 years, 2,800 episodes, we bring you one of the oldest living podcasts, still kicking ass and taking names. We're old. 16 years. 2,800 episodes. When we started podcasting, everyone was like, what's a podcast?
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind.
Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book's success. Anyway, guys, we have an amazing young lady on the show today. We're going to be talking about her books and some of the topics that touch me in my life, and I think a lot of us now. She's the author of the latest book to come out called What's So Funny About Dementia? A spin on dementia and healthcare, et cetera, by Dr. Pam Mullarkey Robbins. It was out September 28th, 2021. If you have any questions on the date of release, she has been an educator of teenagers in the USA, Uganda, Russia, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic for over 50 years. She founded Project SOS in 1993 to help reduce teen pregnancies, alcohol, drugs, suicide, and violence. Upon retiring from teaching in schools, she began counseling dementia caregivers. She has helped care for 4 family members, all of whom eventually died from this horrible disease. She is now a national speaker, counselor, and mentor to caregivers and healthcare professionals who work in the field of dementia. Welcome to the show, Dr. Pam. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am excellent. It's great to have you on the show. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs or social media?
Okay. My Facebook page is the best place to go because my website is being produced right now. My Facebook page is Pam Mullarkey Robbins, and I've got 50 helpful videos there, 5-minute videos to help caregivers because we need help. And we need to learn from people's mistakes and from their good works. And so I've got the 50 videos there, and you're welcome to watch them, and hopefully it'll help you.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your book?
Okay. The book, first of all, the website is, when it gets full blown, it is Dementia Caregivers Solutions.com. There's a lot of solutions, and we all need solutions.
Oh, yeah.
And the book is my mother's stories, and my dad and I took care of her. And my dad was trying to correct her and make her face reality and all of that. And he was getting really frustrated. And I was crying every day, and he was getting angry every day. And after about 3 years, we said, let's look at this from a perspective of humor. So the things that she did while she was doing them, they were not real funny because they were horrifying, some of them. Yeah. But afterwards, we sat down and we would just laugh. And she would laugh with us. She wouldn't have the faintest idea what we're talking about, but she would laugh at our stories. So I wrote them, and I got great pleasure doing that. And after each chapter, I have helps. And that's to help people know what to do when this happens, because she was off the gamut. I mean, she got angry, she got mean, she got happy, she got sad. Every emotion you can imagine we lived through for 5 years.
Yeah. For 5 years, you took care of them in dementia.
Helped my dad take care of her. Yeah.
Wow. And that's the challenge. I mean, this person disappears that you know and love. Sometimes they forget who you are, or eventually they forget who you are. There's the anger. And correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. One of the other things that's interesting is with the frontal lobe, the walls come down. So saying things, they'll usually say a lot of sexual stuff. My sister, she has dementia. She's been in a care center for 10 or 15 years now with degenerative MS. And, she'll say some of the most outlandish sexual stuff to guys that come in, even women. It just kind of depends on where she's at, the thing. But, she'll say stuff, and then now she's pretty angry these days, and she's got a fentanyl pump, and she's in a lot of pain. They get confused, they get angry. We were talking before the show about this term that I think it was like 2 months ago. Someone introduced this to me, came on the show talking about the same things, and they explained to me there's a thing called the sandwich generation. It typically refers to the people aged 40 to 65 who are simultaneously supporting aging parents and their own children, leading to significant financial and emotional and physical strain. Lots of caregivers, and I imagine that's what your book is targeted towards?
Yes. And anybody who works in a care facility is targeted toward them as well, and family members, because family members need to understand what's going on so they can provide the most support for the person.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your journey and what you went through with, over the course of maybe 4 different relatives.
Okay. Well, my mother was the most special one because she was my best friend, and I just loved her to death. I could tell her anything. She was the sweetest woman in the world. And then when she got dementia, my dad and I said, we really need to go to a neurologist and get her tested and make sure we've got the right diagnosis here. So we went into the neurologist's office, and it was very packed full with people, but there were 3 chairs sitting there. So I sat my mom sat between my dad and I, and then walked a very obese woman, and she had on a spandex tight leggings with purple flowers and hot pink pants, and she had on a crop top with pink flowers and purple.
This is me on Fridays.
Yeah. And this is my mother, who has never said a mean word about anybody in her life. She goes, why, in her loudest voice, why in the world would anybody that fat wear that ugly an outfit? And my dad and I went, oh no. And we're looking for a place to scoot under the chairs.
Yeah.
People wouldn't know she was with us. But the good news was the nurses behind the glass heard her, and they came out and they said, we're ready for you, Mrs. Allen. We've been there over an hour. She was already fidgeting because they don't like to wait on anything. So we went back there, and the doctor held her hands and said, how are you doing? And she said, if you don't know, why am I here? And then he said, could you tell me who the president of the United States is? And she said, if you don't know who the president of the United States is, why am I here? All these questions kept going. She goes, what day? He goes, what day is it? She goes, the day after yesterday.
The day after yesterday, she got it down.
Oh, yeah. So because she didn't know how to answer. So she's hiding. And that's what they do. They hide their dementia until they can't hide it any longer. And so he said, I don't think we're going to have to test her today. I think we know what we're dealing with.
Wow.
And so we walked out the office, and that was that. And they didn't have any medications in those days. Now they have some medications that can slow it down. So
it was just they're just like, go home and deal with it, huh?
Yep. That's exactly what they do. Yep.
Yeah,
they can do an MRI, which they just did to my husband 3 years ago, and they can pinpoint how much Alzheimer's or whatever you want to call it, dementia, they have, and they can tell you, the length of the dementia cycle. So.
Is it true that the frontal lobe shrinks and basically all the activities that it regulates, or it gets eaten by the Alzheimer's? Is that?
They're still trying to figure out what to do. It's plaque, and the brain cells start to die. And when I was in graduate school, I was taught that once the brain cells die, they're dead forever, and that's not true anymore.
Oh.
They found a protein. It's called BDNF, and it's in charge of the brain cells. It keeps them healthy, and it can also regenerate them. And if you go on my my Facebook, you can find out the 5 ways to increase the protein. It's very important that people who have this in their family, like I should not even be talking. I should be in a memory care right now. But because I do these 5 things every day, I've fought this thing off because I have the genes for it. So you can fight it.
Wow. Yeah, I was told the same thing when I was young, and I think, we've heard different on the show. So brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF, sounds like an OnlyFans channel.
Protein.
It's a crucial protein acting as a fertilizer for the brain. That explains why some people's brain on Twitter went to shit. They didn't have fertilizer, evidently, or they did. I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere. Promoting the survival growth. Now, I'm seeing here, they got crap they're selling on Amazon about this. Is that good crap or fake crap?
I don't know what they're selling, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
probably fake
I know
crap.
Exercise is number 1.
You got to
get your heart rate up.
I'm just going to live with dementia. Exercise is too hard.
You got to exercise, Chris. You got to. And then diet is another one.
Diet.
Avoid processed foods and sugars. And I love sugar. That's my hardest thing to avoid.
This is like being religious. I have to give up all the fun stuff.
Yeah. No,
being
you can drink red wine because the red wine is good for your brain. I'm just going to
drink that by the gallon, then I'll be fine.
Or red grapes if you don't drink like me.
Oh, red grapes are good too.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you. You're going to be learning about a whole new thing here with this BDSM stuff or whatever.
Right, BDSM. Yep. Brain. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Other chapters in the book. There are chapters in the book, and after every chapter, there's a helpful hint, so that every person who reads this book can be educated into how can I deal with this problem.
Yeah. Now, how do you take something with this BDNF stuff? Is there anything you take, supplements or anything?
I do. Yes. Vitamin. I mean, there's a whole array of vitamins and nutrients that you can take.
Okay.
And the exercise and the diet and socialization is very important. A lot of people who have dementia, and that's the worst thing they can do. They need to socialize, get out there and be with people.
Really? So that's why that's a healthy thing you can do with people. So your book is really geared toward helping these caretakers understand what they're going through. I'm going to have to look into this stuff and see. So what are some of the benefits that your book offers people who are dealing with dementia?
I think it allows them to understand the benefit of finding humor in what's going on. And that's not easy to do. You've got to have a whole mindset change of that. But once you've got that mindset change and you can share these stories with people, you'll start to laugh. You'll start to feel better. Your blood pressure will go down. The endorphins will be released, the happy endorphins. There's so much benefit for laughter. And that's the only way my dad and I survived it. We took her to the nursing home and we were feeling so guilty the first time. And oh my gosh, she had never been away from her husband. And we dropped her off and they knew what was coming. So they circled around her. And then he and I went home and I said, I'll meet you in the morning. We'll go see how she did. So we got up really early. I didn't sleep. He didn't sleep. We went to the memory care and we walked on the door and we saw my mom in the corner holding a man's hand who was in a wheelchair. And my dad said, "Who is that?" I said, "I don't know, but I'll go find out, Dad." So I went to the nurse's station. She said, "Oh, that's Mr. Davis. He's 93 years old. And your dad did such a good job with her that she couldn't be on her own when she got here. So she found Mr. Davis and she thinks that's her new husband." I said, "Uh-oh." So I went to my dad and I said, "Dad, Mr. Davis is 93 years old. He cannot catch her." He said, "That's not what I'm worried about." I said, "But she thinks he's her husband." And he goes, "Oh, dear." And then he said, "I wonder if he would like to pay for half the bill since it's me an arm and a leg." I said, "I don't know, Dad. You could ask him." It's just that kind of humor. We finally laughed about it, there comes a point where tragedy is normal and in life it's a survival game. Right. And sometimes all you can do is just try and, see the human nature of it, the human moment of it. And it is what it is. I mean, you can't stop what's coming. Right. That's vanity. And I've seen, I've been frustrated with my sister early on. I don't think we really understood that she was moving into dementia. And, sometimes there's been arguments about stuff and that doesn't work well for them. No, it doesn't. It gets them very agitated, and they get agitated much easier than they ever did before. Yeah. When my dad sold my mother's car because she wanted to drive, and she was a terrible driver before she got dementia, and after she got dementia, she a 2,000-pound wrecking crew. So he sold her car, and she would go and open the garage door 10 to 20 times a day and say, "Dave," which was my dad's name, "call the police. Someone's stolen the car." Wow. And so he finally called the police and said, "If Lois can figure out how to call you, her car has not been stolen." She would do that every day. And it gets so wearing and tiring. And they're in their own reality. You can't talk them out of it. Yeah. But my dad would try to reason with her, And I said, "Dad, buy a car and put it in the garage without any keys."
Yeah.
So she can think she has a car. She just can't find the keys.
I've heard people say that you create a scenario. I'm not talking politics here, but I know that Donald Trump's father for 10 years was in a state of dementia, and they built like a whole fake office for him.
Oh, wow.
So he could go to work every day. And I guess one of the things they talk about with dementia is providing that normal model setting of what they're familiar with. And I think that's what's hard when they go into care centers, especially if they move around to different care centers. It becomes real hard for them. And my sister said things to us that she's looked at us and go, do I get to go home next week?
It breaks your heart, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's especially hard on my mom because my mom's, she's a mom. This is her only daughter. She had 2 daughters, but only one left. And so it's hard, the heartbreak, she'll still, where's my dad? My father passed in 2014. And then, then she'll cry and be upset like it's a new death. And you're like,
you have to learn how to tell white lies.
Yeah.
And that's very important just to keep them calm. And I know, I'm a Christian. I don't like to lie, but I had to do some lying and just say, this is reality. And I'm going to go into her reality because their reality is where they are. And you cannot argue with them about it.
I like that concept you said. I need to go into her reality. And that makes a lot of sense because trying to fight with them over what reality is, I originally thought that, fighting to help someone stay in reality works, but I've been on Twitter. Clearly it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't, especially with memory care people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a few of that on Twitter.
There's a few. Go ahead.
we use that as a callback joke. We like to bash Twitter. Now, are there other ways? I think we talked about the BDSM or whatever it was called there. The BDNF. I'm just telling jokes, people. Don't look that up. Don't look up the BDSM part. And is there ways to prevent dementia other than that stuff there?
There are medications now. And they're researching all the time with it. There are medications that can prolong the degree of dementia. And there's also IVs now that are experimental, and they can give an IV once a month. And that's supposed to continue to bring back some of the memory that they had. So they're in the process of trying to find a cure, which hasn't happened yet, but they're getting closer every day. And there's a lot of research out there, a lot of research.
Yeah. I mean, it seems, we're kind of in this weird space of human evolvement or human existence. Let's put it that way. We're evolving. I've seen the news. And it's repetitive, so I'm not sure we're making progress. But we have people living older than ever before, and we're not used to this. And the complications of it too are extraordinary.
And the cost of it is huge, especially if you have to go to a memory care and put somebody in there. It's very expensive.
Oh yeah, they just got done raising the prices over at the memory care unit there for people who self-pay. I don't know who's rich enough to self-pay. My sister had, what was it? She had, if you get injured on the work, disability insurance. So she lived with that for a long time, and then they just ate through all the money that she had saved up at the care center. $5,000, $6,000 a month for what is just a really bad apartment. Sometimes you had to share and you're just like, what the hell is going on here? But some other questions for you. Let's see. What's your favorite part of helping dementia caregivers?
Seeing them start to relax and unwind. You'll know you're ready for help when my dad lost 60 pounds. He was getting very angry. And when people start to lose weight and they start to get agitated all the time, they need help, whether it's a counselor, whether it's having a daycare to put your loved one in so that you get a break. It's the hardest job in the world, I think. The hardest sickness to deal with because it's so long. But to get to a point where you're frustrated and you're angry or you're tired and you're moody and you're crying all the time, you need help. And you need to get it. Because what happens if you die to the person with the dementia? Who takes care of them? I knew with my husband who died last October, I knew I couldn't rely on his adopted son because he was a drug addict. And the doctor here said, Pam, you're looking pretty bad. And I said, thank you. And he said, you need to gain about 20 pounds. I had lost 20 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And he said, and Bruce is ready for the Nancy house, which is the place where we live. He's ready to go in the memory care. You need to take him. I said, oh, wow. Because I was caring for him for a year. But I did that. And it was the best decision I made because I was up every hour on the hour for an entire 12 months because he would not sleep. And so when I started to get sleep and started to eat healthy and be able to have my own life a little bit, I mean, you're 24/7 with dementia. Yeah. And he was in the Nancy house and I could go visit him every day and take him to lunch. I was like a new person. I really was. So I can tell caregivers when you get to that point where you're, miserable and you're anxious and you're just tired out, get help however you can get it.
Yeah. There's an old saying about this sort of thing. You've got to put your oxygen mask on first before you help others.
That's right.
And dementia patients, correct me if I'm wrong, we've talked about this a lot on the show, but dementia caregivers face a higher risk of developing cognitive decline and dementia themselves. I think it's 6 times higher. Wow. Yeah, 6 times higher, more likely to develop dementia than non-caregivers. And it's because they usually have higher blood pressure, 27% more. If they smoke, 30% more. And they suffer from poor sleep, 21% more. That's one of the things, my mom has trouble with the sleeping and the caregiving for my sister. I'm getting older. I just have trouble sleeping. It seems like it's a thing. I don't know. But, so they end up being on the receiving end of potentially ending up in dementia, and they can really stress themselves out to do that. What do you recommend for caregivers? Is it, and I believe you do some counseling for this, right? Some coaching?
Do. I can do Zoom online counseling or in-person counseling, and I try to find out where they are, where they would like to be in 5 years, and then we go from there. And I counsel them on how to take care of themselves. And I love it. I absolutely love it because I feel like this is my calling at this point in my life. At 79 years old, it's my calling to help memory care people because I've been there, I've done that, and I burned out myself. And I know it's not an easy road, not at all.
Yeah, it's not. And it's a long decline, too. I mean, I think my sister has been in memory cares for probably 15 years, at least 10.
Wow.
And then hopping around to different ones. And then lately, the big corporations have been buying all the family-owned ones up over the last 10, 15 years. And then they just cut back services and lean that out. I don't know if you discuss in your book how to deal with some of these care centers at all, or do you focus just on the care itself?
I don't. I would suggest with the care center, you go and make friends with everybody who takes care of your beloved one and let them know what your needs are for that person. I just finished a counseling session today, and she's in a memory care, brand new, and she was sleeping 3 days a week and awake very rarely and not eating, and he was stressed out, and so he finally put her in memory care. And so I said, go to the memory care and tell them what you want. You don't want her to sleep 3 days a week. You want her to get up and go to meals and have them do that because that's what you're paying for. But do it in a friendly way because their job is really tough. I mean, their burnout rate is probably the highest of any kind of nurse care. So just tell them what your desires are and be honest and upfront. You don't want them to socialize. I don't want to have to be here every day unless I choose to.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do. Now, how do you recognize dementia? How do you know when you're a family member or someone is starting to enter that sort of issues?
Yeah. They repeat themselves a lot. They ask the same question a lot. For example, my husband came home and the whole front end of the car was bashed in. And I said, Bruce, what happened? He said, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, did you stop? I stopped. I said, did you see anybody? No, I didn't see anybody. I thought, oh dear, we have got a problem now. Wow. And I realized dementia patients should not be driving. I'd say that again, dementia patients should not be driving because they're a liability and they're going to hurt themselves or somebody else if they continue. And on my Facebook page, Pam Mullarkey, Robbins, I've got how do I take away the keys? There's ways to do that. And how do I talk to them about it? All those things need to be done before they have an accident.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm 58 now, and if I'm running on 4 hours of sleep or something, I can tell my brain's slightly off. And I'm not going to go, do stuff. I don't even like to drive sometimes. If I'm really tired and I can tell I'm on, I don't like to be on the road because I'm just, I just recognize I haven't had enough sleep and I can tell, if I go out, I can tell I'm just slightly off my game. That's all you need to be is make a mistake to be off your game. And that's really important.
Deprivation is the worst thing for dementia, sleep deprivation. So if you want to avoid and build up your BDNF, you need to get 8 hours sleep a night if possible.
Yeah.
7 to 8. And I wasn't getting but 1 or 2, and that was really destroy my health. And it'll destroy your health. And
give you early dementia, probably most likely from 6 times higher.
Yeah.
Are there, what do you recommend caregivers do? I've suggested my mom doing meditation or seeking counselor. It seems like having an ongoing counselor that you can talk to and different things is important. Meditation. Tell us about some of that.
Okay. Bible studies are great because you're with people that you will get to know, and they'll help strengthen you and pray for you. And meditation and exercise and getting a group of friends, or I call it dump your junk. Find one person that you know that you can dump your junk on. They won't tell anybody. They won't judge you, but you've got to release all the pent up anxiety you have that you're dealing with and give it to somebody. And that's why I counsel. I have them dump their junk. But if you have a friend that you can talk to, do it. Your mother needs somebody to dump her junk on. And then she dumps it on you, and then you're carrying that burden. She needs somebody that's not related to the family, preferably.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that they're not carrying the same stuff she's carrying. You don't want to pick up her monkeys and carry them along. You want to get rid of the monkeys. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. One of the things that we have is we're kind of in this survival race, me and my mom, of who will take care of Delana after one of us passes. I'm 58, and I've kind of had some fun in life, and who knows? You don't know. I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. I could, I've got all these friends in my 50s, especially guys that are just killing off one day, and so it's kind of getting weird. But hopefully, we have good genes. Hopefully, she'll live to 100, and I'll live to 100, and I'm probably gonna have to take care of both of them. That's kind of what we're preparing for. And, I'm fortunate. I've lived a good entrepreneur life, and I have the time to be able to take care of people. I mean, I don't really have the time during the business day, but, I have the freedom and time technically. But they're the last of my family. I don't have a wife and kids. I could never afford all the divorces. So I said no to my 2 engagements. And my lot is to take care of both of them. And one of the problems I have is I'm an entrepreneur of multiple companies and a big deal. I have a lot on my plate that I have to deal with. And my mom wants to talk to me about that. And I'm like, you've got to find somebody to deal with this, because she wants to talk about some of the ugliness of the business, which is blood and, women's issues. Let's put
Yeah. Never call me. Never call me.
Yeah.
How old is your mother?
She's 83.
Okay.
But, on one hand, this kind of keeps her going. So it's a good thing. They say if you don't stay busy when you retire, you tend to go fairly quickly because you're not up to anything. So we'll take you out, says the universe. So on one hand, I think it keeps her focused and driven. But, on the other hand, she really emotionally takes it all in. But the thing that I try to be protective of me is I'm going to have to live with this 24/7 in probably a certain amount of time if I survive. If we all survive what's going on.
Can you afford to get caregivers to come in? You're just sleeping at the house?
She does have the insurance. So she's got this insurance that will take care of that. But then there's a certain point, like she did that with my sister. She took care of her for a long time in her house before, it got to the point where you need to have 2 people bathe her. And now you have to have 3. The hope is that can extend, but, I'm going to have to live with this. And so I'm like, Mom, I need you to deal with this and take this to someone else. Handle this stuff because I'm going to have to live it. And right now I'm trying to make sure that I can be ready financially for what they're.
You're very wise not to pick up her junk. You're very wise, really. You don't need to do that. Yeah. Just tell her to get a counselor or find a friend that's not in the family that she can talk to, and have her do that at least once a week. And then if she starts to talk about the problems, you need to redirect her if you can, and she'll probably get off the phone, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. You don't need to carry those burdens.
The challenge is she thinks that we don't care, and I live in a world that I wake up and there's 500 emails to answer. The world's on fire. I mean, it's not that dramatic. I'm being a little much, but there are days like that where it's like, hey, we got to load up the attorneys to go sue some people that are, we recently found there were some scammers trying to represent the show, and we got to send the attorneys after them, and I mean, just oh, this is the problem. This is on fire. Oh, the website's down for some plugin that threw a curve. There's always fires, but I've got to prepare for this because my mother has earned her place at retiring well, but I am not able to give it that time. But hopefully someday I will with the work that we're doing. Of course, economy, knock on wood. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this because this is a point of contention that we have, and she has a lot of time on her hands because she's retired. She's earned that, and so I need her to take care of that bucket now because eventually I know I'm probably going to have to take care of both of them, and that's fine. That's the road that I'm a male provider. That's what we do. We take care of people, and fortunately, I'm used to running companies and running things, but I need that put off, and I need that isolated from me so that I can do the best I can. Because there's just no way I can deal with it. I mean, there's some days where, it's assholes and alligators wall to wall. Every day's a Monday, and then I'm fighting my health, my sleep, and yada yada.
And you do need to get more sleep and eat. Do you eat well? Do you eat?
I eat well. I didn't used to, but I started
good vitamins and nutrients.
Yep. Vitamins and nutrients, mostly vodka and cocaine. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, folks. That's a joke. So now, I think you mentioned you have another book. Is that correct?
Yes, it's called The Brighter Side of Dementia. I had so many people coming to my website, my Facebook. I didn't have a website. I had a Facebook. And they'd say, can you write another book? Because I love the book I bought. I don't have any more stories. But if you'll send me stories, and people will send me stories from around the world, I'll put them together and I'll compile them, and we'll have another book. So I have 100 stories, and it's called The Brighter Side of Dementia, and it's in the making right now of getting produced. And so it should be on the bookshelves within a month or two. And it's The Brighter Side of Dementia, and they're great stories. And I put them in different categories, like, one is cars, like taking the license away, and another one would be a food fight or things like that. But they're just crazy, but it's great. I think you'll like it. And it makes you laugh, and it makes you lighten up, because this is such a hard road. It is such a hard road. Yeah. And I hope you won't have to put up with it, Chris. I hope you'll have enough money to be able to get somebody to come in and take care of things, and you can still be the entrepreneur that you are, and you won't have to deal with that. Because
it's fine if I have to deal with it. I'm kind of down that road. They're the last of my family, so once they're gone, I'm pretty much just on my own. And we had dogs, and
no brothers?
We got one of those families that don't talk to each other, sort of thing. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Does she call your brother? Does she call him?
She recently started that.
Good. Have her call him and dump her junk on him.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, dump on my brother.
But so now I notice your Facebook page. I think it's under. Do I have it right here? Pam Mullarkey, Robbins, Dr. Pam.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So that's the right page there. We'll put that in the thing.
And my granddaughter's little video is the first thing you'll see. So she's a auto mechanic. She's gorgeous, but she's an auto.
Oh, really?
And I can't take it off. I don't know how to get rid of it. But she'd be heartbroken if I did.
Did she tag you in it, or she posted?
I don't know what she's done.
I see you're doing some painting with
the watercolors. Yeah, that's a wonderful little thing, and you can buy the books, and you just put water. So when they're bored and you need to keep them busy, you can take out a brush and some water, and they think they're painting.
Oh,
it's for dementia patients. Isn't that cute?
I've heard that's actually good. Coloring books and
yes, coloring books and painting. Yeah.
It gives them the thing to do. So, I mean, this is really great stuff. And so people can reach out to you. Now, I see on your Facebook page, there's a website called letsfightdementia.com.
It's not active. So the website is dementiacaregiverssolutions.com. And it's up now, but it's not filled yet. I mean, there's a lot on dementia, but not much on my phone number. And you can definitely call me or text me or email me if you want to think about, getting counseling. That's fine. And I'm the cheapest counselor in the world. I'm $85 an hour, which if you go to a counselor nowadays is like $250. I thought, that's ridiculous. So I give them an hour for $85. It's a pretty good deal.
This is the thing, your parents take care of you and, you change your diapers and all that stupid stuff you do as a kid that makes a mess everywhere. Let's just put it that way. I think my parents have pictures and videos of me walking around with my, thankfully, I believe it was empty, but I had my, what was that called? The potty training bowl on my head at one point.
That's adorable.
I'm told I was empty, but you ought
to put that on your website. It'd be
that's probably appropriate.
Get people to laugh. Yeah, get their hormones.
Well, they already laugh. I mean, anybody who sees me looks at me and goes, "What a freak show! Who let the circus out?"
No,
it's mostly on my dates. Really. Hey, somebody escaped from the circus over here. He's trying to have coffee with me and ask me out again. Anything more you want to touch on or tell people before we go?
Just to know that they're going to get through this. My favorite expression was, "This too shall pass," and it will pass. And when it passes, never feel guilty because you're going to have freedom, and freedom feels wonderful. In fact, I just remarried 2 months ago, and it's like a whole new world to me because. When you're married to someone with dementia, they don't say thank you. They don't say they love you. It's just another world. So I'm just having a ball. And I'm 79 and just got married to a 78-year-old, and we're having the best time of our lives. So don't worry. There is a life after dementia caregiving. So
I love your attitude towards this. It is what it is. You can't change. You can't change what's coming. That's vanity. That's my favorite line from No Country for Old Men. And you've just got to do the best you can and care for you, and like I say, our parents cared for us when we were young, and, then it's our turn. I've done that with my dogs all my life. There's the first 10 years or 8 years that are really good. And then you got the years where, the first 8 years, I always say the first 8 to 10 years, my dogs carry me. In the last 4 or 5 years, I carry them. That's the gig. We have to take care of our loved ones, and it's hard. So I'm glad that your book gives resources to people that can help them, make it less hard and give perspective. I mean, I kind of laugh at your titles, but that's probably the important point.
But if you can find the humor, you can survive. Just find the humor.
Because I don't want my mom going into dementia anytime sooner than she would have to for caring for my sisters. I want her around as long as she can. I enjoy being around her. I think we get along better than we ever did in our lifetime. COVID kind of cemented that. We kind of learned to put aside our differences, and
she's got a wonderful son. You're a wonderful son, don't you? You are. And thank God she doesn't have dementia at 83.
I'm going to pay you to tell her that. No.
Oh, I will. Give me her number. I'll tell her what a wonderful son she is. Most sons go, I don't want to deal with this. Let my sister deal with it. And if they don't have any sisters, it's
We have a great relationship now, and it's healthy because we didn't always have one, and so it's good for a pair. Dr. Pam, give us your final .coms and everything as we go out.
Okay. Pam Mullarkey Robbins is my Facebook page, and you can get on that. And then the other thing is the website that's being built right now. It's up, but it's not the way it's going to be. And that is Dementia Caregivers Solutions with an S.com. And I hope everybody will go and learn something and just enjoy the ride and know this too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Yeah. Privilege. Been a privilege.
Thank
Chris,
you. It's been a privilege to have you as well. And thank you so much. I mean, there's so many people that need help with this. And like I said, the sandwich generation thing is getting out of control. So now I just need to go find out about BDNF and see what sort of supplements I can make sure I'm taking.
And they're on my Facebook. So just go in there and it'll have the 5 ways to increase the BDNF. Yep. It's probably the last 5 videos I did.
All right. Sounds good. We'll look that up.
Okay,
well, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for tuning in. Order up her book, wherever fine books are sold, and you can get them and find out more about them. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikTok, and all those crazy places. And be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Pam, great show. Wonderful.